Today we're going to be looking at 3 great iris fragrances from my collection. So if you're interested, stay tuned. How's it going, YouTube? I hope you're all doing well. I'm Grant. This is 2 + 2 = Fragrance. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and turn on your notifications so you'll be made aware of any future content. You can also follow me over on Instagram at 2 + 2 = Fragrance. So before we look at these 3 fragrances, I just wanted to say that anyone who's new to the fragrance world, don't be put off by the iris note just because you hear people describe it as smelling like lipstick or a makeup bag. That's just the easiest way to describe the scent of iris, the way it's generally used. It can be used in many different ways, but generally it does give off that lipsticky, makeup bag kind of scent. That is just the easiest way to describe it. I usually say lipstick or lipsticky, that's how it comes across to me. But that doesn't mean that every fragrance with iris in just smells like lipstick. There's a lot of other notes what blend in with it as well. It's just iris dominated fragrances can have that kind of lipsticky vibe being quite prominent. But these 3 fragrances I'm going to show you today, they've got different levels of iris in them. It's used pretty much in the same way, but there's different levels of iris in them and different notes with them, so they all smell pretty different. And yeah, I'd like to get that across. Don't be put off by the iris note. Check these fragrances out, because as I've gone further into my fragrance journey, I've realised that some of my favourite fragrances have got the note of iris in. Just don't be put off by it smelling like lipstick. Let's get into the video. So the first fragrance we're going to take a look at is this one. Gentleman Givenchy. Now this is the EDT. This was the original one when it first got re-released before any of the flankers. And this one, to go with the iris, has got notes of pear, vanilla and leather as the main notes to my nose. There are other notes in it, but they're the main notes that go with the iris. Now this one is the most versatile on this list. It's probably the most mass appealing. Probably. It's definitely the most versatile. You can use this one for any occasion and you can wear this one in any season. Now I'd say the 2 main notes in this are the pear and the iris. Now this is the least lipsticky on the list. The iris is very prominent, but it's only got a slight lipsticky feel to it. It's a very fresh iris in this one. This is a fruity fresh iris fragrance. It's got a little touch of leather in it and a little touch of vanilla in it to give it that sweetness. And although it's not listed, I do think there's either ambroxan or amberwood in this one. I pick it up, but it's not listed. But I think that's what gives this the modern feel, and it gives it a bit of oomph as well. So it is an iris fragrance first and foremost. I would say that is the most dominant note, but that pear runs through it from start to finish, which gives it a nice fruity feel. And yeah, this one's super versatile. I think it'd be a great signature scent. I think it's also underrated just because some of the flankers are just so good. I think people overlook this one, but I wouldn't. Don't overlook this fragrance. It's a great one to get you into iris fragrances because the iris is prominent, but it's only got a slight lipsticky feel. So it's definitely worth checking this one out. I think this is a fantastic fragrance. I really enjoy wearing this. I wear it a lot to work and it gets me compliments as well. It's a great place to start if you're looking at getting into iris fragrances. So that one was Gentleman Givenchy. And moving on from the least lipsticky iris on the list to the most lipsticky iris on the list. And this is the one that pretty much started it off in designer perfumery. It originally came out in 2005, I think, although this is the 2011 formulation. And most of you, if you're into fragrances, are going to know what fragrance I'm talking about. It's the original Dior Homme. Now this is proper lipsticky iris. If you want to know what lipsticky iris smells like, this is the one you want to smell. This one, to go with the iris, the main notes I pick up in this one are cacao, amber and lavender. This one's not as fresh as Gentleman Givenchy, but it's not too heavy either. It's just a bit more creamy. That amber and cacao gives this one a slightly more creamy feel. And the fact that the iris is very lipsticky in this one, that adds to that creamy feel as well. Still very versatile. I wouldn't say it's quite as versatile as Gentleman Givenchy, because probably in the summer I wouldn't wear this one, especially hot summer days. I wouldn't wear this one in the summer, but it's good for spring, autumn, winter, and it's good for any occasion. So it is still very versatile. I just probably won't wear it in the summer. But yeah, this one, you get a lovely, slightly chocolatey lipstick, the way the cacao mixes with the iris, and there's just a little bit of sweetness from the amber. This one, it is an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. This and Dior Homme Parfum are my two favourites from the line. I would like a bottle of Dior Homme Parfum. It's not been on Dior's website for months now. I've checked and checked and checked. The price has gone up and they've never got it in stock. And because of that, I've actually bought the next fragrance that we're going to look at instead, because it's got similarities to it. But yeah, going back to this one, the original Dior Homme. It's now called Dior Homme Original if you want the one with the iris in it. Check this fragrance out. It is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. This is lipsticky iris done at its best in my opinion. I love this fragrance. I absolutely love it. I'd highly recommend it to you. That was the original Dior Homme. And last on the list, we've got this one. We're going back to the Gentleman line, and this one's Gentleman Givenchy Reserve Privé. Now, I've only had this one a couple of weeks. This is my most recent pickup, in fact. And it is absolutely gorgeous. This one has got notes to go with the iris. The main notes to me are whiskey, chestnut, and amber. Now, this iris kind of falls in between the previous two. I wouldn't say it's quite as lipsticky as Dior Homme, but it is more lipsticky than the Gentleman EDT. But this one has got that whiskey note, which gives it that booziness, which is why I compared it to Dior Homme Parfum. Not the same fragrance, you know, it's completely not the same fragrance, but it's got that boozy feel, and it reminds me of Dior Homme Parfum, which is one of the reasons I picked it up, because I can't get Dior Homme Parfum at the minute, and this one is probably the closest thing I've smelt to that. There's a lot of similarities. It's a boozy iris fragrance. You get a nice bit of sweetness from the amber, and it's got that lovely twist of having the chestnut in it. This is an absolutely gorgeous fragrance. I'm so looking forward to wearing this more in the cooler weather, because I've only wore it a couple of times so far. But yeah, this one is the least versatile out of these three fragrances. You can wear it dressed up or dressed down, any occasion, just like the other two. But this one, you're not going to be wearing in summer, and you're not going to be wearing it on warm spring days. This one's going to be cool spring days, autumn, winter, because it's heavier than the other two. And that booziness as well, it's not the kind of scent I would be wearing personally in warm weather. You can if you want, you can wear anything anytime you want, as I always say, but this is really a cool weather fragrance, whereas the other two are year round and pretty much all year round. But yeah, this scent is absolutely gorgeous. You've got that lipsticky iris, you've got the whiskey and the boozy feel from it with the nuttiness, the sweetness from the amber, and it just all mixes together to create an absolutely stunning scent. Love this one. Absolutely chuffed that I've picked this one up. Ready for the cold weather. Another one you've just got to check out. All three of these fragrances, in my opinion, are fantastic. So go and check this one out if you've not already. Another fantastic iris fragrance. That was Gentleman Givenchy Reserve Privé. So they were, in my opinion, three great iris fragrances from my collection. Do you like the note of iris, or are you not keen? What's your favourite iris fragrance if you do like iris fragrances? Make sure you let me know down in the comments, and we'll get a conversation going, because you know how much I love chatting to you guys, and I'll always respond to your comments. As always, thanks a lot for taking the time out to watch this video. I really do appreciate it, and until next time, keep smelling amazing.